All right, so this is a very interesting thing that just came out from the Trump administration. They are apparently going to be offering $1,000 to undocumented immigrants who self-deport. So if you've watched me in the past or know anything about me or my policies, I am very pro-immigration, and I try to back up why I am pro-immigration with facts and studies, putting aside just the general humanity of it. So I want to make that clear. And as I said, I do try to provide a reason to why I am coming to this conclusion aside from humanity, because a lot of us Americans don't really have that. So, stick around to till the middle and the end of this video. We are going to read this article, and then we're going to go over some of the statistics in regards to immigrant crime, immigrant impacts on the economy, and are these undocumented immigrants collecting Social Security benefits and scalping money from the government? Stick around to the end. We're going to go over all of that, and I hope I can at least, if not change your mind, just prompt you to think about the issue. So, from the Guardian, Trump administration offers $1,000 to undocumented immigrants to leave the U.S. The Trump administration has announced a new program offering a $1,000 payment to people in the U.S. without immigration status as an incentive to return to their home country voluntarily. The Department of Homeland Security outlined this initiative on Monday, pledging financial and travel assistance to undocumented immigrants who agree to, hold on. What the hell are you doing? Oh, wait, you can't. This is Luna. If you ever hear craziness in the background of my videos, it's because of her. Yeah, because of you. Because of you. You want to give some political commentary? All right. Sorry for the interruption. She just goes crazy every time I start recording. Back to the article. So they want to provide financial and travel assistance, and they came out with this app called CBP Home. That is a version of the app devised in the Biden administration called CBP One that gave people approaching the U.S.-Mexico border without official arrangements a strictly limited channel to request asylum in the U.S. and enter legally when issued an appointment. Donald Trump shut down that program upon inauguration and has vowed stranding many, and later changed its name and function to that. CBP Home is a tool to exit the U.S., not enter. Wow. So they took an app where you could use to file asylum claims and just turned it into a complete self-deportation app. Jesus Christ. The agency claimed that the $1,000 payment would be issued only after the individual has returned to their home country and has been confirmed through the app. DHS made the announcement in a news release emphasizing many of the terms, some legally questionable, favored by the administration in its hardline anti-immigration policy, such as illegal alien and self-deport. If you're here illegally, self-deportation is the best, safest, and most cost-effective way to leave the United States to avoid arrest, said Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary. In the news release, DHS stated that one individual has already participated in the program, receiving a plane ticket for a flight from Chicago to Honduras, and additional tickets have already been booked for this week and the following week. The department estimates that even with the cost of the stipend, the program will decrease the cost of deportation by around 70%. Currently, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, this is all just depraved, fucking inhumane shit to begin with. But we already went over the budget plan, and you want to increase the funding to Department of Homeland Security by like billions. So it's a moot point to say, oh, this is going to save us money. Currently, the DHS claims the average cost to arrest, detain, and deport someone from the U.S. is $17,000. Bro, it's almost like, unless they're an actual violent criminal, it's almost like we shouldn't deport them. If they're just here, just working, trying to get by, trying to get a better life, maybe we should offer them a path to citizenship. But no, we are racist xenophobes, so. The agency also stated in the announcement that individuals who use the CBP Home app to declare their intent to leave the U.S. will be deprioritized for detention and removal ahead of their departure as long as they demonstrate they are making meaningful strides in completing the departure. The DHS further claimed that participation in the program may help preserve the option for an individual to re-enter the U.S. illegally in the future. Yeah, okay. On Monday afternoon, Trump pushed similar claims, telling reporters from the Oval Office, "We're going to work with them so that maybe someday, with a little work, they can come back in if they're good people." But critics sounded the alarm. It is an incredibly cruel bit of deception for DHS by telling people that if they leave, they will maintain the ability to return to the U.S. legally in the future, said Aaron Reichlin Melnick, a senior fellow at the American Immigration Council, in a social media post. Many people who might see this as an option would be put in a worse off legal position, so this is a trap. The new initiative centered on the Trump administration's concept of self-deportation, which is the notion that conditions, Linda's going crazy, which is the notion that conditions in the U.S. can be made so unbearable for undocumented immigrants that they will choose to leave, is their latest action to crack down on immigration. So I always try to make the stance, hey, immigrants aren't your enemy. They aren't the reason why you don't have good healthcare, free healthcare, why you don't have a good free higher education. They're not the reason why why a lot of people don't have a minimum livable wage. It's not the reason. They're not the reason for inflation and your grocery prices being high. Like none of that. And how do we know if the administration will even follow through on these payments, or even if it's just not a pure lie? Like, you can't tell me that this administration isn't just filled to the brim with just pure liars. Because if an immigrant accepts this and leaves the country, well, what mechanism is there in place to ensure that they actually get paid? What are they going to do? Sue if they don't get paid? It's similar to when the Trump admin offered severance to people who quit their jobs. Like, hey, we'll pay you for until X date, when like there wasn't even like congressional approval for that. And like, where's this money going to come from? Like, who's approving this money? This is all stuff that like, it's very deceptive, and I wouldn't take their word on anything. And for those of you who are so against immigration, saying they need to follow the legal process, well, for one, a lot of people that have been deported have followed the legal process. Trump just didn't like that legal process. But like we've already seen TPS, temporary protected statuses, and asylum seekers deported, green card holders on the verge of being deported, people on student visas being deported. And along with that, Trump has actively made the legal process in other instances much harder, ending asylum processes, ending immigration offices in Southern American countries that were supposed to help with the legal process. And it's not like he's over here hiring more immigration judges or anything for hearings. Like, oh God, it's... Anyways, aside from the humanity aspect of ripping people out of their homes, separating people from their families that have never committed a crime, except for coming here illegally, which is a civil infraction, by the way. It's not some huge federal offense that everyone makes it out to be. But aside from that, let's look at some of the facts about immigration, because one of the things that the Trump admin likes to say is this is all about crime. Crime. Immigrants bearing crime. Most of them, there's hundreds of thousands of rapists and murderers and gangs and all sorts of stuff that he likes to say, even though none of that is true. It is a very minuscule number. So I prompted, can you break down the effects of undocumented immigrants in relation to crime in the economy? Would you consider them a net positive or negative, and why? So here is studies on crime from the Cato Institute. Undocumented immigrants have lower criminal conviction rates than native-born citizens. National Academy of Sciences found no consistent relationship between immigration, documented or undocumented, and crime increases. Stanford University sanctuary counties, which limit cooperation with ICE, showed no increase in crime compared to non-sanctuary counties. University of Wisconsin study, higher undocumented immigrant populations correlate with lower rates of drug arrests, DUI arrests, and overall crime. Key points. Undocumented immigrants are less likely to commit violent crimes than U.S.-born citizens. Areas with high undocumented populations often show neutral or reduced crime rates. Some localized exceptions exist, gang-heavy areas, but they're not reflective on national trends. It's like you can't take small areas where, yeah, sure, There is a gang here, or yeah, that undocumented immigrant killed someone. You can't use that as a reason to deport millions and millions of people. I'm sorry. Until you can show me studies or statistics or reports that these immigrants are actually responsible for increasing crime across the board, you're just being dishonest and xenophobic. What do you want me to tell you? So we've established that immigrants are they're not impacting crime in a negative way. In many cases, they are lowering crime. Or I guess, yeah, I'll just stick with that. So on the economy, positive economic contributions. Labor market, they often fill low-skill, labor-intensive jobs in agriculture, construction, and service industries. They help keep costs down for consumers due to lower wages. Now, in a sense, I have an issue with that because, obviously they're not getting minimum wage because they're not officially employed, because they're undocumented. But, I think everyone should have a minimum living wage. But aside the point, let's just stick with the facts, and these are the facts. Consumer demand, they spend billions annually, boosting local and national economies. Entrepreneurship, many start small businesses, especially in food services and construction. Payroll taxes, $13 billion a year paid into Social Security via fake or borrowed SSNs, according to SSA estimates, without benefit collection. No matter how much Trump or Musk scream about these fake Social Security numbers resulting in people collecting benefits, no, it's actually the opposite. It's so they can pay in to the system. State and local budgets, some states with large undocumented populations, California, Texas, bear higher short-term public service costs. However, net long-term fiscal impacts are modest, per studies from the Congressional Office and NAS. Net impact, positive or negative. Crime, neutral, positive. Federal budget, slightly positive. State, local budgets, mixed. Labor market, positive. Overall economic growth, positive. Conclusion, most peer-reviewed economic and criminology studies suggest that undocumented immigrants are a net positive. They pose no unique threat to public safety. They contribute more to the economy, especially at the federal level, than they take out. Short-term fiscal burdens at the local level exist, but are often offset by economic activity and long-term benefits. Okay, now let's talk about the whole thing about these undocumented immigrants collecting government benefits. Undocumented immigrants are generally ineligible for most federal public benefits in the United States. This includes programs such as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, Medicaid, except for emergency services, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, and Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, TANF. However, there are exceptions at state and local levels. Some states offer assistance to undocumented immigrants through state-funded programs, particularly for children, pregnant individuals, or during public health emergencies. For example, California's CalFresh program allows undocumented parents to apply for food benefits on behalf of their U.S. citizen children. Additionally, while undocumented immigrants contribute to programs like Social Security and Medicare through payroll taxes, they are not eligible to receive benefits from programs unless they obtain legal status. All right, and then I said, because Republicans do claim that we have a lot of illegals collecting benefits. I asked, how true is this, and is there any evidence of this? Claims that undocumented immigrants collect substantial government benefits are largely unfounded. Federal law generally prohibits undocumented immigrants from accessing most public assistance programs, including Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, except for emergency services, Supplemental Nutrition Program, SNAP, and Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. Federal budget restrictions. Undocumented immigrants are ineligible for most federal public benefits. They cannot legally receive Social Security benefits unless they obtain legal status and a valid Social Security number, although some may contribute to Social Security through payroll taxes using false or borrowed SSNs or an ITIN. These contributions are not tied to their identity, making them ineligible for benefits. State-level exceptions. Some states offer limited benefits to undocumented immigrants. Kind of already went over that, but let's look over the misinformation and political claims. Assertions that undocumented immigrants receive extensive government benefits are often based on misinformation. For instance, a widely circulated but false claim suggested that the Biden administration paid $2,200 monthly to illegal immigrants. In reality, unauthorized immigrants have limited access to federal benefits, which are substantially lower if available. contributions without benefits. Despite being ineligible for most benefits, undocumented immigrants contribute significantly to public funds. In 2022, they paid approximately $96.7 billion in U.S. taxes, aiding programs like Social Security and Medicare, which they can not access unless they attain legal status. So please spare me with all of this. Like, I don't know how to get it through your brain that these people are just a scapegoat, okay? Just like trans people, just like gay people, just like whatever. Because all this administration wants to do is invoke class warfare between each other and keep us fighting each other instead of looking up and seeing that they are the ones actually screwing us. Like I said, this doesn't give you free healthcare. This doesn't give you a livable minimum wage. This doesn't give you free public education. It's not going to lower grocery prices, and it's not going to improve our infrastructure. It's like I can't understand how people just rationalize this boilerplate, just generic states like, yeah, if they're illegal, get them the fuck out of here. Like, do you just not care about, like, one, humanity, two, like basic facts and statistics, and like you not realize that these are people, and if they're not actually criminals, violent criminals, then what harm are they doing? Can you tell me? Probably not. So with all of those facts in mind, can you rationalize or actually give me a reason for the mass deportation of non-criminal immigrants? Again, illegal immigration is not criminal. It's civil. So please tell me, like, everyone majority of people you deal with on a day-to-day basis, you don't even know their legal status. Like, so who cares? You know, like, hey, are they causing trouble? Are they a criminal? No, like, Jesus Christ, just drop this notion. It's not going to solve any of the country's issues, and you're just giving them an excuse to rip families apart and pump more money into border security. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.